Hello, Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Yeah, I have a question to ask you.
Okay.
Actually, one of my relatives in India, they asked me to buy a jewelry for her.
They offered what?
They asked me to buy a jewelry for her, jewelry.
Okay.
Yeah, jewelry.
Okay. What's the question?
Okay, now I went in search of it, and yesterday I bought it.
Okay.
Yeah, the cost is around 15,200 something. My husband said you had many expenses incurred upon it. Like I went in transport expenses and all the food expenses. So he said you can have a extra amount around 100 or 200 extra, and you can charge her like that. Is it valid?
I will answer your question, inshallah. Khadija from Dubai. Sister Khadija?
Yes.
Yes, your question, please.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Sheikh, I called yesterday regarding the zakat for the property, and I just have one clarification. I had the property for a while, and I was renting it, and I was paying zakat on the rental, and I have now just sold it. So that was my question, whether I have to pay zakat now or do I pay zakat 1 year later.
Okay. I will answer your question.
And I have one more question regarding mahram to go to Hajj or Umrah. If a woman is above 45, you mentioned the other day that you cannot go for Hajj or Umrah without a mahram. However, there's an organization here in the UAE that allows women to go, and I think they group them with other groups and allow them to go for Hajj. So I just wanted your comments on this.
I will comment on this, inshallah. Yeah. Okay, before we answer Nasij's and Khadija's question, so what is the type of this taxation, the jizya? For the non-Muslims to be able to reside in a Muslim territory, we as Muslims take this jizya from them, first of all, to protect them. So if any invasion, anyone is trying to invade our country, they're not allowed and they're not supposed to pick up arms and go and defend. This is our job. We're taking this money to defend you. And this is mentioned in Surah At-Tawbah as well, that Allah Azza wa Jal ordered the non-Muslims to pay this jizya. Al-Kharaj is what they give for the lands. We have an agreement with them that they may plant and cultivate and sell the crops. So we take from them something that we agree upon, 10 to 90, 20 to 80, depending on it, because the land is, it belongs to the Muslim government, to the Muslim nation. This is not to be owned by non-Muslims, so they can live in it, they can cultivate it, and we agree on a percentage. If they accept Islam, all of this would be uplifted. So it is an incentive for them to accept Islam. No one is forcing them. You want to remain as you are, it's okay, but you have to pay this form of taxation. And I will stop here until we answer these questions and see how things develop. Nasij was asking about people ask her to buy them something. So she is acting as an agent. So if someone comes to me and says, Sheikh Asim, I'd like you to buy me a watch, XYZ. I know that the watch costs 1,000 riyals. Okay, we have Abu Safwan from Kuwait.
Hello, Assalamualaikum, Sheikh.
Salamullah, ahlan wa sahlan.
Hello.
Yes, bro. Listen to me from the phone, please.
Okay. You see, I have a question. I was waiting for, I have some problem with my TV, so I could not ask you. I don't, if we have to only ask this question specific to zakat, or we can ask anything?
You can ask anything, inshallah.
Okay.
Hello.
You know, actually about this zakat, you know, we have some diamond. Obviously, there is no zakat on diamond, but actually this diamond is embedded in some 18 karat gold or 9 karat gold or 14 karat gold. So do we have to pay zakat on that gold, which is being used for holding these diamonds?
Second question.
My first question. And the second question is, my daughter, you see, we are from Canada. We are living in Canada, but I'm working in Kuwait. But my family is settled in Canada. My daughter, she wants to go. She is very religious. She is taking a job, and she is 21. She wants to go to study medical to some other country. Obviously, she'll go alone. Is it allowed, or what are the rulings?
Okay.
It will be great if you could kindly answer me this.
I will answer you.
Jazakallah. Thanks a lot.
Assalamu. So, someone tells me, Sheikh, buy me this watch for 1,000 riyals. I buy the watch, and then I top it, like instead of 1,000 riyals, I say it's 1,200 riyals. And I get to my friend, and I charge him 1,200 riyals without him knowing. Is this permissible? This is not permissible. This is haram. Why? Because I cannot profit from something I did not own, first of all. Second of all, what she's saying is that her husband is saying that you have incurred some expenses, taxis, parking, going, so you should top this by 200 dirhams and charge your expenses. Is this permissible? It is not permissible per se, because if you were doing a favor to your friend, you should have made this clear to her, saying that, listen, I'm going to buy this set of jewelry, 14,000 dirhams, but whatever I pay as expenses, you will reimburse me. Usually, your friend will say, definitely. So, if you do not tell your friend, you cannot top this except what is exactly what you have paid as expenses. But if you go to the mall and you spend like 3 hours looking for her jewelry and doing your own shopping, and you pay for the parking for 3 hours, and which only took you half an hour to look for her jewelry, and also you buy some hamburgers and drinks and take the children to play, and you also consider this to be part of the charges and the cost, this is haram. You should only actually charge what you have paid specifically for that purpose, and I would personally would not do this. If a friend asks me for a favor, I would consider these 100 or 150 dirhams part of the favor I'm doing to my friend. What are friends for? And then she asks about, I think, Sadiq from Nigeria. And we don't have Sadiq from Nigeria. So I think this is Nasi's only question. Khadija had two questions. The first of all, she was clarifying the issue of yesterday's question. The property she had, it was on rent. So she was getting rent out of it, and when she sold it, she's asking, do I give the zakat immediately, or do I have to wait a whole year? The answer is, remains as it is. You have to wait for a whole year. Her second question was about, in the Emirates, they have groups or companies that allow women to go for Hajj in groups without a mahram. So, I did not get the point. You take your religion from me or from someone else, or you take it from the Quran and the Sunnah. I am merely giving you the evidences from the Quran and Sunnah, and you apply your Islam to it. The Prophet says, alayhi salatu wasalam, and he was addressing the Muslims, it is not permissible for a woman that believes in Allah and the Day of Judgment to travel without a mahram. A man stood up and said, "O Prophet of Allah, my name was drawn, so I have to go to the expedition of so and so. It's that we're going for jihad, for battle. But my wife went for Hajj. Now you've said what you had said, now I'm in a dilemma." So the Prophet said, alayhi salam, go and accompany your wife. The Prophet took him off the expedition and instructed him and ordered him to accompany his wife. That is it. The hadith in the Sahih. The Prophet did not ask him, was she alone or with a trustworthy group of women? The Prophet did not ask him, was she young or old? Was she white or black? Is she beautiful or ugly? He didn't ask him any of these questions, which means that any woman is not allowed to travel without a mahram, whether for Hajj, which is a pillar of Islam, or to anything else. This is Najib from Nigeria. Najib?
Hello. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Listen to me from the phone, please.
Okay.
Yes, Najib.
Yes. I'm having two questions, sir.
You are?
My first question is,
Okay.
my first question is about Salah.
Okay. Akhi, don't listen to me. Do not listen to me from the television. Mute your TV and speak to me from the phone.
Are they going to have female imam in front of them, or
I don't understand your question.
female imam in front of them, or are they going to stand in the same line? The female is not stay at home.
I'm afraid I cannot understand what you're saying, Brother Najib. Okay. So she is not entitled to travel without a mahram for Hajj. Now, if there are companies saying that we have fatwa from so-and-so, I don't care about their fatwas. I care about the Quran and the Sunnah. And the Prophet is the one who gave us the fatwa. One would say, oh, but the scholar so-and-so says, as long as she's in an airplane with trustworthy companion. What would I do when I meet the Prophet on the Day of Judgment? And I said, oh, Prophet of Allah, I apologize, but there were scholars, big scholars. They come on my 44-inch screen LCD. What is this? You're a Muslim, you follow the Quran and the Sunnah. And the fatwas of scholars would not help you on the Day of Judgment if you know the authentic hadith and it's crystal clear. What else do you want? Who do you believe in? The scholar or the Prophet ﷺ? So I hope this answers your question. Brother Abu Safwan is saying that in case we have gold and the gold has diamonds, so a woman has a necklace, beautiful necklace, a big diamond with a necklace of gold, whether 14, 16, 20 carats gold. So how do we calculate the zakat? This is something you cannot do. Maybe the necklace is worth $100,000. And if you take it to the jewelry shop, he would tell you that there is only 20 grams of gold in it. Hence, it is not zakatable. Yes. Why? Because the gold does not reach the nisab, which is 85 grams of gold, of pure 24 karat gold. So you have to take this, whatever jewelry you have, you just put it in a bag and take it to the jewel shop and ask the goldsmith to calculate the amount of gold. This is something they know by profession, and then you can calculate the gold. But diamonds, as long as you're not keeping it to sell it, you're not investing in it, there is no zakat for it, nor any other precious stones. His second question was about his daughter. She's 21, she's wearing niqab, she's a practicing Muslimah. MashaAllah, may Allah Azza wa Jal preserve her and send her a righteous and pious husband that would cherish her and love her. He's asking that she would like to pursue her studies in medicine, but she wants to travel somewhere else to finish her school. Is this permissible? If she's not traveling with a mahram, this is not permissible for any reason, as we've stated just a while ago. And if a mahram is taking her to that school, let's say that she lives in Vancouver and she wants to go and study in Toronto. So if her mahram, her father, her brother, takes her to Toronto, and she would stay in a safe environment. So she would stay in a hostel that only females reside in it, no males allowed, and she's safe and sound, everything comes to her way, she doesn't have to go out and expose herself without having any mahram in town. And the school that she goes to, Amreen from Amreen. Okay, Amreen from Saudi Arabia.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Sheikh, I have two questions.
Okay.
One is, I own two houses in India.
Okay.
I have rented them. Do I have to pay zakat on it or only the rent?
Okay. Second question.
And the second question is, how many zakat should be offered for Salatul Duha and Ishraq?
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you too. So if the university is mixed and you have boys and girls, and as we know it in Canada or in the States, that there is no segregation, you're unable to maintain your chastity, separating yourself from this spoiled and corrupt environment. I personally believe that women should not go to such extent, because their chastity and preserving their Islam and being steadfast on Islam is a priority, is a must. So if they can study through correspondence, if they can go to segregated universities, this is a must for them. Sister just called from Saudi Arabia. She has 2 houses in India and she is having them on rent. She's renting them out. So does she give zakat on the property? The answer is no. The property is not zakatable. Things that you own and they're not for sale, you do not give zakat for them. I could have a rental car company and I have a fleet of 100 cars, the best models, today's model, this year's model, very expensive, and maybe it costs the 100 cars may cost over 10 million riyals, and I'm leasing them and I get them back and I lease them again and so on. Do I have to give zakat for these 100 cars? The answer is no. The zakat is only due on the rent that I collect if it mounts to the nisab and a whole year passes. So for you, when you give your house for rent in India and they give you in advance the monthly, the yearly rent, then you have to give 2.5% when a whole year passes over. If you spend it throughout the year, then there is no zakat. If you collect the rent at the end of the year, the minute you take the rent, you give 2.5%. So I hope this answers your question and clears it. When you get rent, you either get it in the beginning of the year for a whole year, or you get it at the end of the year. If you get it in the beginning of the year and throughout the year you spend it and at the end of the year it's all gone, there is no zakat. But if you lease the house for a whole year and at the end of the year you collected the rent for the previous year, immediately you have to give 2.5% for that rent. And she's asking, how many rak'ahs do we pray for duha or ishraq? Ishraq, which is the prayer that follows the sunrise. The hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, a beautiful hadith, he said that whoever prays Fajr in congregation, that is in the masjid, and he remains in the place where he has prayed, until, remembering Allah, making dhikr, invoking Allah, until the sun rises, approximately the span or the length of a spear, which is about 15 minutes after the calendar sunrise, and then prays 2 rak'ahs, then Allah Azza wa Jal would reward him a perfect Umrah and Hajj. Perfect, the Prophet says 3 times. So it's a great reward. These 2 rak'ahs are known as the 2 rak'ahs of Ishraq. And dispute among scholars whether these 2 rak'ahs of Ishraq are the same as Duha or not. And the most authentic opinion is that they are the same. But the difference is that Ishraq is a Duha prayer prayed at the beginning of the day, and Duha is prayed throughout the day before the adhan of Dhuhr. How many rak'ahs? You can pray 2 rak'ahs and the sky is the limit. If someone wakes up and at 10 o'clock a.m., 2 hours and a half before Dhuhr time, he wants to pray voluntary prayers, 2 rak'ahs, 4, 10, 20, 100. All of this is acceptable because this is a time of prayer. There is no problem in praying it. But the duha is 2 rak'ahs, the minimum. And some say that you can even pray it up till 8 rak'ahs, where the Prophet ﷺ, as in the hadith of Hani, went when he conquered Mecca, in the conquest of Mecca, and she entered and she saw the Prophet pray 8 rak'ahs, if I'm not mistaken, and the Prophet ﷺ after that attended her questions. So some scholars say that these 8 rak'ahs are part of the duha. Others say no, these 8 rak'ahs are the prayers of conquest. And either way, alhamdulillah, the minimum is 2. If you want to add to that, there is no problem in that, inshallah. Tomorrow we will begin with where we stopped, and we will continue inshallah to talk about one of the signs of the hour, which is the suspension of collecting jizya and khiraj, and what the scholars said about that. Until we meet you tomorrow, same time, an hour from now, I leave you fi amanillah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Oh my Creator, oh Allah, fulfill our aims in life, Allah.